Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the May 1st meeting of the San Diego County Citizens Law Enforcement Review Board. Sorry, we're a couple minutes getting started. We're a couple minutes late getting started. We were having some technical difficulties, but we are here now. If we could please have the board secretary call the roll. Present.
Present. Present.
Present.
Present. Mr. Mendelson.
Present.
And Mr. Ware. This is absent. Okay.
Okay, thank you. I don't believe we have any board members participating virtually tonight, so we can move from item number 2 to item number 3, public comment. As I mentioned briefly before the meeting got started, for the people that are here in person, this is an opportunity for people to give comment to the board on anything that is within CLERB's jurisdiction, but not on tonight's agenda. Ms. Hakak, if you could start with the folks that are here in person, and then we'll move to those that are online. 2 minutes, please.
Thank you, Chair Pinter. First, we will call Rodriguez.
Sir, you have 2 minutes. Our timer.
Yes,
It's working. Sorry, never mind.
Yes, I came to address CLERB due to what I described in the request to speak to you, inconsistencies that's happened with the investigation into Saxon Rodriguez and the in-custody death, who is my son. I have a vast experience in security, was also a former cell master down at the border, the San Ysidro. I've tried to address all these issues with the Chula Vista Police Department and the Sheriff's Department, and I've been met with great resistance. I didn't know the case was closed until the 12th of November, 2024. I did see that CLERB had came out with a review of the situation, but it appears, I don't have the full details or a report from you guys, but it appears that they've given you guys great resistance also investigating my son's case. Just like I've requested to speak, they didn't provide you with my certifieds. And the failure to report with those or respond to those certifieds falls under PC 837, which they're in violation of. Every person that got my certified, they failed to respond. They're subject to arrest today. And why the mayor of San Diego did not provide a copy to you and the city council needs to be reviewed if they didn't do that to you. I was swatted twice by Chula Vista Police Department trying to get my answers. They didn't respond to my certifieds. I went down there to make my citizen's arrest. Now I was dismissed. My roommate, Jamie Pollard, he went down to City Hall with me to try to re-engage against the city and the police department, still met with resistance. This should not be happening, especially finding out what I found out, how my son really died. Targeted attack by law enforcement. So some action needs to happen. It sounds like you guys were lied to and misled like no other.
Mr. Rodriguez, thank you so much. Your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will call Daniel. All right, it appears Daniel is not in the room. I will start pulling the online request to speak.
Okay, if Daniel returns to the room, then we can come back to him.
Yeah.
Thank you.
First, I will call David Settle.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can
Can.
hear you just fine.
Okay, thank you. Yes, hello. So I'm David Settles, once again, brother of Matthew Settles, who passed away in August of 2022 in the George Bailey jail. So once again, I'm dialing and speaking really in remembrance of my brother and to advocate for the mentally ill in the jail. I know you've looked at Matthew's case. There was no, findings of wrongdoing by the sheriff's department. I believe you're still reviewing the Vogelman case, who is very similar to Matthew. He had long time mental health issues and was also at George Bailey, passed away just 2 months after Matthew. And I just want to remind the CLERB, that Matthew really, wasn't protected in jail. He was clearly mentally ill in a crisis, because he came from the county mental hospital, and he was assaulted. He was not protected, and uh, um, he had his issues. He was in a crisis, so he was lashing out. But still, he was weak. He really could not harm person. He was a gentle person, deep down. So, um, just here to advocate for him, and please continue, CLERB, to look, including the Vogelman case, but all other cases. We hear from the sheriff's department how they accurately, assess the mental health needs of the inmates and put them in appropriate, housing. And, I believe that clearly was not done with Matthew. So thank you for letting me speak, and thank you for all you're doing.
Thank you.
Hey, David.
Next, we have Ilka. Ilka, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we do.
Okay, I'm just pulling over because, as you all know, today is May Day and it's very vital to show up at a number of events. But there is no way I'm going to miss an opportunity to remind everybody that Matthew Settles, as well as Saxon Rodriguez, as well as multiple others, never should have been in jail in the first place. There should be no restriction. And if Paul was still on the board and had been hired like the parents and the families wanted, if they had the money to get their child out of jail, since there have been deaths in our jails since 2015, they would have. They wouldn't have left them in jail. Only a fool would do that. People with mental health issues, as well as drug addiction, which is a disease, need to go into a hospital and not into jail. And the games that certain police divisions, not all, I really feel we have good police divisions, is at the fault of Sheriff Kelly Martinez, which we need removed. San Mateo County, they didn't hesitate to get the county board, which we need to wait till we have a full board, as well as their citizens review board, in getting their San Mateo sheriff removed for how she treated her deputies. And these are innocent human beings that do not need to be criminalized. They need to be hospitalized and put on their medication. And guess what? It is murder what Kelly Martinez has done. She has gone against our county. She has gone against our board. She has gone against our governor. She lied about being a Democrat just to get elected. She has no human decency or self-respect, because the last death we heard about was brutal. We need to advocate to remove her power and remove her, and we need Paul back. We need Paul back. The guy you hired? Mm-mm. We have too many families suffering. Not okay. But
Thank you, Ilka. Your time is up. Next, we will call Leslie Crawford.
Yes, I'm here. Raymond Vogelman's mother. I believe Yusuf Miller might be present. in-house? And if so, I'd like to give my time to him, please.
Ms. Crawford, Yusuf is not here. Would you like to proceed with the, oh, he's online.
He's
I'm
online.
sorry.
Yes.
I
He's online, okay.
apologize. My
Either him
mistake.
or David, whoever, either one of them wanted.
My mistake. I thought you meant in person, but he is online. We'll give him your time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. I will call Yusuf Miller.
Hello.
Yes, Yusuf. You have
Hello.
4 minutes.
This is Yusef Miller, North County Equity and Justice Coalition, Saving Lives in Custody, California. And I want to thank Leslie Crawford for giving me her time. And I would like to say that when we were at the Capitol of in Sacramento, there was a fight for AB 847, which is the bill from Lachey Sharp, Colin Sharp, who is looking at transparency for law enforcement review boards to look into officers as they do these things that we're investigating. We know it's been a trouble when we're trying to get transparency. Transparency is not the enemy, and this bill helps us to have transparency into the records of officers who are abusing and neglecting our loved ones. Now, the reason why I bring that up here is because LA CLERB, they went and actually spoke and testified on behalf of this bill. I look for that kind of stand up and represent from San Diego County. This bill helps you, not only LA and all these other places, but I think LA and San Diego should be the front runners on fighting for this bill. The chair Bonner, he was there speaking up and standing firmly for the need for transparency in not only the jails, but also probation and parole, which the organization TAP is really interested in transparency and accountability and parole, as you know well and myself about this initiative. So I look for all of us to stand firm in supporting this bill because this bill helps families, gets families the information that they need, and draws us closer to the truth of what happened to our loved ones. I want to give my peace and blessings to Saxon Rodriguez's father. I haven't met you. I wish I was there in person at this time to be able to meet you and be in solidarity with you. But we need to make sure that we're fighting the fight of legislation, not just the fight of opinion. We need to make these opinions black and white, something that we can use to support these families. These families are suffering and the family number is growing. We're at 3 deaths this year. And although it's far less than the previous years, but any egregious death of neglect or mishandling is something that's incredibly unjust and we'll never have to stand for it. So we look for you and we need you all to beef up your board. We know that there are vacant seats. We need to be conscientious, and so are we on the streets to get those seats filled so that we can have a full complement to look into what's going on with our loved ones in these jails. Thank you so much. Yusef Miller, North County Equity and Justice Coalition, Saving the Lives in Custody, California.
Thank you. Next, we will call Sabrina Woodall. Sabrina, can you hear us?
I can hear you guys. Hello.
Go ahead.
Hello. Hello, my name is Sabrina Weddle, Saxon Rodriguez's older sister. As you guys have already heard from his father, Jock Rodriguez. Welcome to the CLERB meetings here in San Diego. It just goes to show that, our advocating for Saxon Rodriguez will never stop. We're approaching year 4 in his death. And we continue to see the same incidents happen over and over again. We have Andre Wanzer here in your guys' agenda tonight. Of course, actions justified by CLERB because, can you guys care any less? Let me bring up their names real quick. We have Brian Powell, Andrew Randovich, Maxwell Rimple, and Andre Wanzer, the 4 deputies responsible Module 4B, the day that Saxon died, July 20th, 2021. We have a complaint on Andre Wanzer, who beat up somebody. But of course, CLERB has justified those actions because you can become a sheriff and do whatever the hell you want at any given time. No problem. We have the nurses, Melissa Burns, Reggie Barreto, Carrie Cavello, Reincarnation, Caitlin Hendricks, Marlene Abanza, Kelly Payne, Levy Santos, Chantel Williams. Again, 9 nurses that also got to get away with whatever they pleased. My brother died because of the lack of care provided. And like his father stated, at some point it was kidnapped because he wasn't even read his rights. He didn't know why he was arrested. CLERB has shown us time and time again, you guys do not care about these people. I hope the family that complained about Andre Wanzer hears me. He is a foul person. He will continue to hurt and harm people. And people need to continue to put out complaints, even if CLERB does absolutely nothing, because that's what they do, is absolutely
Sabrina.
nothing.
Sabrina, thank you so much. Your time is up.
Of course it is.
Next, we will call Deidre McLeod.
My name is Deirdre McLeod, and I'm a constituent of Supervisor Joel Anderson, District 2. My pronouns are she, her. In 2023, the state of California passed a law that sheriffs must release internal investigative reports related to in-custody deaths. That law, SB 519, was inspired by the lack of transparency around jail deaths here in San Diego County. It was introduced by a state senator from San Diego County. This board, the San Diego County CLERB, repeatedly authorized its then executive officer to speak in favor of the bill at state hearings. 70% of San Diego County's legislative caucus voted in favor of this bill. The Union Tribune now reports that in at least 4 legal cases, lawyers for San Diego County are trying to prevent internal jail death findings from becoming public in direct violation of this law. It is bonkers to me that San Diego County is now trying to shield the sheriff from SB 519. In direct defiance of the wishes of the people of San Diego and their elected officials, and using San Diego taxpayer dollars to do so. Again, just to be clear, San Diego is now funding opposition to a law that San Diego made happen. Given that the county's left hand is deliberately sabotaging its right hand when it comes to this issue, I urge this board to file a brief with the Ninth Circuit Court in support of an en banc review of the Greer opinion. That 2-1 decision has reopened what should be settled law regarding the public's right to know as much as possible about deaths in our jails. It is past time for the sheriff and the county council to stop fighting SB 519 and begin fully complying with it. And you can help make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will call Paloma Serna. Paloma, can you hear us?
Yes. My name is Paloma Serna. I'm the mother of Elisa Serna, who was killed on November 11, 2019 by retired Deputy Rochelle Foster, Deputy Lucas Lacey Lovisa, Deputy Tony Hall Bennett, Dana Lee Pasquale, Carol Gilmore, Frederic Von Lente, and many more others. I'm with the North County Equity and Justice Coalition and Saving Lives in Custody, California. I'm here today to speak and to urge this board to prioritize transparency, accountability, and justice in the investigation into the in-custody death of Raymond Vogelman. Raymond died in the custody of the San Diego County Sheriff Department, an institution with a deeply troubling pattern of neglect, abuse, and preventable death inside its jail. We are not just speaking about one isolated tragedy like Matthew Settles and Saxon Rodriguez. We are confronting a system that has allowed too many people to die without answers, without accountability, and without change. Once again, Elisa Serna, Raymond Vogelman, Matthew Settle, and Saxon Rodriguez. We understand that CLERB jurisdiction over contracted medical providers has not yet got into effect. However, this board still has the authority to investigate the actions of the deputies, jail staff, and others under its authority. We are asking that this case be
investigated correctly, thoroughly, and without delay, and that CLERB ensures every piece of evidence, available evidence, is carefully reviewed and considered. Raymond Vogelman was someone's son, someone's loved one. His life matters. His death deserves a full and honest examination, not rubber stamp, quick action justify, or a delay report. The public is watching, and impact families are demanding answers. We ask that the board treat Raymond Vogelman case not as a statistic, but as a call of action. Be bold, be transparent, and most importantly, do your job with the integrity and urgency that justice requires. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will call Diana Serna.
Hello, my name is Deanna Serna. I am the little sister of Elisa Serna, who was killed November 11th, 2019. Me and my family will continue to come and scream for justice for all, not just my sister, but for all of our loved ones who were impacted by the sheriff's department. Kelly Martinez needs to resign. She needs to step down. I think it's such a disgrace that last month at the Board of Supervisor meeting, they gave her an award. For what? This just shows that her and her deputies are allowed to do whatever the fuck they want, because they know that they will be able to get away with murder. CLERB, we're asking you guys. You guys need to step up. Step up and do something. Because if not, then what's the case of us coming every month begging you guys to help our family members? Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Brown.
Yes. Good
Can you
evening.
hear? Good evening.
I'm Jeannie Brown, Criminal Justice Interest Group Chair of the League of Women Voters of San Diego, and I speak on behalf of both the Leagues of San Diego and North County, San Diego. We believe counties must ensure that all correctional systems provide humane, dignified, non-discriminatory treatment of incarcerated people and personnel, including appropriate health care. We have long been concerned about the conditions in our county jails and are in the process of studying critical issues such as jail deaths and the treatment of incarcerated individuals. A recent report of environmental health expert Deborah Graham revealed that the Sheriff's Office fails to meet minimum environmental health and safety standards in their jail facilities. Ms. Graham's is one of 12 reports that will be used in lawsuits aimed at improving conditions in San Diego County jails. Listening to CLERB meetings and hearing the heartfelt pleas from families such as these of individuals in our jails, we consider the phrase taken into custody. Legally, custody refers to the care, control, and responsibility of the person or property. Once someone has been taken into custody, their food and medical needs must be met as part of the care and responsibility of incarceration. The responsibility of providing a safe space for them is required. Yet, based on the numerous complaints from impacted families and troubling reports of jail injuries and deaths, these basic conditions are not being met. We respectfully urge the CLERB to address these pressing concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Carpenter, that concludes request to speak for item number 3. We have one more comment to be read for the public submitted by Tom Packard. If you allow me to read it. Please do all you can to get the sheriff to fully comply with SB 519. Direct County Council to not support her resistance and cut County Council funding if that for that if necessary. That's the end of the comment.
Thank you. And that concludes our public testimony. I just wanted to reference AB 847 that was raised in public comment. We did not get notification about that committee hearing in time to put it on the agenda last month for us to take action on it. But I believe several members of CLERB did send individual letters in support of the legislation, and our executive officer will be talking about it a little bit more in his report. I'm going to move to item number 4, which is minutes approval. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from our April meeting? Is there a second?
Second.
Hey, Dr. Brown and Mr. Mendelson, first and second. We could call the roll, please.
Chair Pintar,
Yes.
Vice Chair Keen Ayub,
Yes.
Secretary Pisano, yes. Dr. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Federico Mondragon,
Yes.
and Mr. Mendelson.
Yes.
Record shows the minutes have been approved.
Mr.
Vote of
I'm sorry.
yes in favor.
Did you call Mr. Ware?
Oh, I'm sorry.
He snuck in.
I didn't notice he arrived. Mr. Ware,
Yes.
I apologize. Okay, so the motion passes. 7 in favor and none opposed.
Thank you. We'll move to item number 5. We do not have a presentation or training tonight, so we'll move straight to number 6, Mr. Kalina's Executive Officer's Report.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brooke Kalina. I'm the Executive Officer of CLERB. My pronouns are he, him. As the board will meet a little bit later, we had a new SI join us this last month. Lori Adams is going to be joining us during closing session today, and so we're excited about that. And then the other exciting news.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. No acronyms. SI for the public.
Special investigator.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. Sorry. And then we will have a new special investigator starting Monday. And so I look forward to introducing him to the board next month. So we are now at full staff with special investigators. We're still only missing our administrative secretary. And we will be starting the first rounds of those fairly soon, of those interviews. Just a quick update on the potential healthcare provider jurisdiction brought forward by District 4. We had our second meet and confer on April 21st, and we have one more scheduled. So I believe they've both been fairly short, and we've been able, I believe, to fully answer their questions to the best of our ability. And so I think the process is going well.
Mr. Kalina, just for the benefit of the public, could you please explain what meet and confer is?
Sure. Meet and confer is an opportunity for the different union members or representatives from each of the employer groups that work for the county and are part of a collective bargaining process in which they can meet when certain changes to rules, regulations, and ordinances have an effect on their particular employment. And in this case, it's SEIU, which is the general union representing most of the county employees, and that includes most of the healthcare staff that does work for the county that's not contracted. And so they've had, at the last meeting, I think we had a representative, healthcare representative from each of the different detention facilities, discussing the issues that may impact them. And again, I think we had a good meeting and look forward to this. Hopefully will be the final one. As you may know, it is May 1st, which is budget announcement day for the county. And the budget came out today. We were fairly consistent on the proposed budget from the prior year. We have I think a 0.1% increase. It's not a huge increase. However, we didn't go down, which did happen for many other units within the county. So I feel like we have a good chance of getting that particular budget through when it's proposed to the Board of Supervisors. We will still have the opportunity to move forward with the additional positions if the healthcare authority comes through. Then we would go back to the to FG3 and ask for additional resources and back all the way up through the CAO, because now any positions that have either been opened or new have to be proved all the way up because of the budget concerns. In fact, I think when it came out today, there's a large number of positions that will not be filled if they are open, and that they will not be starting anything new unless it's very necessary for the county. And so we're working on that. And we are working, I say we, NARS is working really hard to change and amend the contract for Mountain Whisper Light, who's doing the death study, that you all approved the budget increase. And so she's working really hard to get that contract done as quickly as possible so that we can move those funds and get you that report as soon as possible. I attended one town hall outreach event. This was last Sunday at the Christian Fellowship Congregational Church. The first panel was CPP, which is the San Diego Police Oversight Board. They were there to discuss changes in their process and procedure. They're still working really hard on getting rules and regulations on how to conduct business. And I think one of the main things that I heard from CPP was that they really relied on CLERB's rules and regulations and how they want to move forward. They believe that that's been a good outline of how to go about oversight. And so they're using a lot of the things that we are doing. And so we look forward to continued working with them. I met with a couple of the board members, the acting EO, and we discussed maybe some potential of doing something together down the road as far as an outreach event. Assembly Bill 847 was brought up both in public comment and the chair discussed it as well. Bonner, who was the individual from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department Oversight Board, he was a co-sponsor on the bill. Unfortunately for us, none of us were notified that this was even moving forward until after the last board meeting. We weren't even notified as far as a common letter of support from the entire board. So that's when I reached out to you as the board members to present letters of support. And I know that many of you did do that, so I thank you for that. I will tell you that the meeting was on the 28th, it was this week, public safety meeting, and it passed the public safety meeting by a 5-0 vote. And I do know that they received some of the board members' votes, so I appreciate your support on that. Case updates, we had 12 new cases in April, but with last board meeting and PC cases, we closed 18. We are making some inroads on the numbers of our investigations. And so right now we have 126 open investigations, and then we all have 7 reviewed today. I will put this on your radar for next month. We'll be coming back. We are hoping to request the board to recess in July. The July board meeting is scheduled for the 3rd. I know we might have already discussed this, but there's some concerns about quorum anyway. So our office has been working very hard to make sure that the July cases come before you in June. And before I get to June and ask you for the July recess, I want to make sure we get those cases done. And so, I'll be coming in June. As long as we get through the cases, I fully expect to ask the board for recess in July. And that's it.
Any questions for Mr. Kalina? Yes, Tim.
Yes, thank you. From a budget standpoint, any current vacancies we have for our staff is already absorbed in the current budget?
That is correct. And we did get an increase, a slight increase, and most of that was put forward as an increase in salary and benefits.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I have a question, but I want to give everyone, yeah, go ahead, Ms. Federica Madrigal.
So I know you don't know yet, but around how many cases would we have in June?
I think even if we push all of the cases up, I think it's only 8. Does that sound right? Maybe a little bit higher, but and some might be with summer dismissal too. I don't know how many we have, no summer dismissals. So not big like we had been doing probably the last 6 months up until last month, but a little bit smaller, but we're hoping to make sure that we can get them done because I think July might be tough.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Brad, are you able to say anything more at this time about, you mentioned, talking to the acting EO of the CPP about some outreach. And thank you very much for showing up at the town hall at the request of one of our regular public participants on Sunday. You had mentioned to me the possibility of a fall town hall event, and I wondered if there was any updates.
We do have an update. We've looked into 2 different dates in the fall, one being September and one being October, depending upon the availability of the county office up in North County. And we are hoping to be able to combine some training, a tour to the Vista facility, if board members would like that, and then move into some training and all doing that during the day, which would be open to the public. So we would start a little bit earlier, and then we will take a look at the cases at that time to see if we can try to knock them out the month before so that we don't run into having to do closing somewhere else. But we'll see. We're working hard on it. We're just trying to make sure we have the availability.
Thank you. Okay, we will move on to, if there aren't any other questions, we will move on to board chair's report. That is me. Couple of things. I wanted to welcome our new special investigator. I'm hoping that we get another one on board soon, so you all have a little bit of breathing room. I also wanted to thank Naris for working so hard on the Whisper Light contract. I think it will be really beneficial when we get that report, even though we didn't get all of the originally sought information. When I took a look at that list last month of the number of the amount of information that was provided, I think it's still enough to provide us with some context for some changes that we could recommend. And then I also just wanted to call to the public's attention the new format on the agenda. You might have noticed that for the summaries, for the findings, the way they're reported in the public agenda, we've changed the format a bit. So it says board finding is pending, and the staff recommended finding, and then the rationale. But this does not change anything for how we've been operating. It just makes it more clear to the public on these agendas with the summaries. This is really what the investigators are recommending, but none of those findings are final until after the board deliberates and either approves them or makes recommendations for changes. And I think it will be more clear to the public and more clear to the press as well. So I also thought it was a good opportunity to convey to the public that as board members, we get reports from investigators about 10 to 12 days out before these meetings. We review those reports, and then we have an opportunity to reach out to the investigators directly and ask additional questions. We try to do that in advance so they have an opportunity to go get that information if they don't have it available to them. And then we have that information available to us for deliberations at our closed sessions. And I'm hoping that when we do get to have this town hall that Mr. Kleine was just talking about, that we can explain a little bit more about how our investigators work and how we are are able to use that information in our deliberations. So that concludes my report. Any questions for me from the board? Okay, we will move to item number 8, new business. There is no other new business, so we will move on to number 9, unfinished business. And this is a review and approval of edits to our policies and procedures that were attached to the agenda, so members of the public could see them. I think they're also posted on our website, and I know that the board members received them in our packet. These are minor edits to the policies and procedures that this board approved last year. So, Mr. Kleine.
So I would just add the only response that I got was from you, the chair, saying that there was the prior one that was approved said the meetings were on Tuesdays. What we will do is just, as long as it's approved here tonight, that we will just put a monthly meeting on there and not pick a day, because as that may change depending upon availability. Other than that, I didn't receive any responses to needing any changes or recommendations for changes.
If it's okay, I'd like to actually just open it up to the board. If there are anything, if there's anything in the policies and procedures that you saw that you have questions about, now would be a good time to ask if you'd like. Okay, I also just wanted to clarify, because this did come up when we moved the meetings. We used to meet on Tuesdays, and then we moved to Thursdays. And the reason for that is this room gets used by the Board of Supervisors for various meetings and various committee hearings. And this room was no longer available on that particular Tuesday for us to have these meetings. So that's why we moved it to Thursday. So I just wanted to clarify that there was a reason for that. We didn't just do it haphazardly. I know that board members and members of the public got accustomed to the Tuesday time, and I wanted to make it clear that there was a good reason for changing the meeting. Mr. Mendelson.
I was just going to say, I think not only did it say Tuesday in both of those drafts, it said the second Tuesday, yet we're meeting the first.
Thing, it's same rationale, but thank you. We are going to clarify that in the revised draft. What do I call it? We will update it.
Well, as long as the board wants to approve with that one change, then we would go forward and present those as the finals if they vote, if you want to vote on them tonight.
Okay, so there is an action item. We could action item tonight. Okay.
Yes.
Ms.
I
Kina,
move we approve the proposed agenda or change with one change, just deleting second Tuesday and just say we'll meet monthly.
Yep.
Great. I think we have another comment here from Ms. Kinayoub.
My only concern with making it vague as monthly is that if we are to bring on additional members, it would be difficult for people to be able to decide if this is something that they could do on a regular basis. I think getting quorum is important for us to be able to move forward, and we just want to make sure that we can establish anybody that we want on this board, or if we bring onto this board, a date so they feel comfortable knowing when it is.
Thank you for flagging that, because I also meant to mention, because this also came up in the public comment about filling the vacant seats on the board. I've been involved in the interviews for those, and all of that, the timing, the timings of the meetings, the commitment, the time commitment, and the time commitment. I always make it very clear to people who are applying as well about the amount of time it takes to prepare for tonight's meeting. It's not just showing up here. There's a lot of work that has to be done in advance. So I appreciate that. And if there's a way we can clarify on the website, if it's not in the rules and regs, so we don't have to keep changing it if things happen.
Could you
Yes.
just say that the meetings will typically be on the first Thursday of the month unless changed by the board?
So I wanted to bring this up as well. We will be starting this process probably earlier this year than we had in the past. And let me give you a little background as to why we had to move to Thursdays. There are Board of Supervisors that generally sometimes become board members of certain commissions as well. And when they become the board member, they take priority of all of these rooms. And so what could happen is with a new board member, we might be booted out again on Thursday, on our first Thursday. So I don't want to have it set in stone, because we are at the mercy of priority in this building. And so just to throw that out there so you're aware, we'll be talking about it early this fall. about the schedule for next year so that everyone has a chance to discuss that.
I do think, though, to Ms. Kinayoub's point, that we could, without adding it to the rules and regs, the policies and procedures, that if we make it clear somewhere on the website, particularly where we're asking people to apply, that might satisfy her concern. Okay. Yes, Mr. Ware.
No, I was just gonna say, I agree with Ms. Kinayoub, because going from Tuesday to Thursday, at least for me, was a big change.
And for her, for other people too. I understand. Okay, anything else? If not, we can go ahead and take a motion. If you want to amend your motion, Mr. Mendelson, because I think it changed slightly, given the conversation we just had.
Well, I think my motion was to go ahead and approve the proposed changes with the change of we will meet monthly and the caveat that we will put on the website the fact that the meetings right now are going to be the first Thursday of the month. And I think it's good not only for prospective board members, but also for members of the public that want to make comment.
You're right. That doesn't really change your motion, so thank you. And then we have a second already. So Dr. Brown, I believe, seconded. So if you could call the roll, please.
Okay. Chair Pintar,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kinayoub,
Yes.
Secretary Fasano, yes. Dr. Brown, Ms. Federico Mondragon,
Yes.
Mr. Mendelson,
Yes.
Mr. Ware.
Yes.
Okay, it's unanimous.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
We move
passes.
to item number 10, board member comments. Anyone have comments tonight that you'd like to share? Okay. There are none, then we will move to our liaison queries. We have a new sheriff's liaison, so I had to go back and find his name. Lieutenant Jarjora, please.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Nice to be here. Nice to see some of you. I've been here before for presentations in the past. I'm here for any questions that you have. If you want me to give you a quick bio, I can do that. If not, I can just, yeah. All right. So been with the department since 2007. Worked a bunch of different positions. One of them did have to do with overseeing training and uses of force in our department. So I've got a decent amount of experience with that. I've worked in our homicide unit, other investigation units. I've worked with the great citizen volunteers of search and rescue and our reserve deputies. Worked at different patrol stations, courthouse, and now I'm over here at DIS. So I'm very excited to be here and looking forward to working with you all.
Thank you. Do we have questions for our liaison? Dr. Brown.
We heard a lot of comments. Mental health. Make sure that we everybody.
Absolutely. Oh, you're welcome. Yes.
And yep, I was just going to address that. That'll be one of the topics I know that the board has brought up many times. So when we do get to our town hall and training for everybody here, we fully expect that to be one of the topics brought forward.
Ms. Fasano, and then Ms. Kinayoub.
I just wanted to recognize and thank you for responding to a question I had raised, which was to give us a schedule for when the body-worn cameras were deployed in each of the facilities and functions. So thank you for getting that to us.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome. I wish I could have got it to you faster, so I apologize.
No, it's okay. It's only been a couple months, so thank you.
And Mr. Kalina will be circulating that information to all the board members. Ms. Kinayoub.
I have a query about the recent concerns of the Sheriff's Department collaborating with ICE in the field. And I was wondering if this was something that you could bring us more information about next time you come to CLERB.
Possibly, I would say if you have a specific question that you want to send via email, then I can look into it. I just don't want to promise you something I don't know if I can deliver on.
Absolutely. I will send you direct questions. I would like them answered at the board meeting, though.
Again, I'll take a look at the questions, and if it's something I can do, then I will.
Thank you.
Mr. Ware, did you have a question?
Well, I was just surprised at her question. I hadn't heard that. Is that a true statement?
Sorry, sir. Is what a true statement?
Collaboration with your department and ICE?
I'm not sure what her actual question is. So
Okay, fair enough.
There have been news reports about it. It's not really our jurisdiction, but we'll see what her question is and then see if what kind of response you're able to provide to us. Thank
Okay.
you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we'll move to our probation department liaison, Ms. Pena Diaz.
Good evening, Ana Diaz Pena with Probation Department. Am I too loud? Oh, okay.
You're not too loud. It sounds like I reversed your name, so I apologize
It's
for that.
okay.
Do we have any questions for Ms. Diaz Pena?
Yes.
Ms. Kinayoub.
Hello, Ms. Diaz-Pena.
Hi.
You will get to know me. I have a question that was sent prior, and I was wondering if you received it. I will reiterate it here. And if you do not have the question, please feel free to bring it back to the next meeting. I asked CLERB seeks clarification on how the probation department ensures compliance with the American with Disabilities Act for youth who are held in custody 24/7. Specifically, what policies, practices, and measures are in place to support neurodivergent youth, particularly in situations involving conflict or altercations. Additionally, what de-escalation techniques are employed to prevent injuries and ensure the safety of all individuals involved?
Yes, we actually submitted a response. I'm not sure if you guys received it, and it was in writing.
Yes, we just got a response this afternoon. And so I fully anticipated being able to share that with everybody today. I can read your response, or if you wanted to read your response, but it's up to you how you'd like to get the response.
I don't care who responds, I just want it.
Well, let's go ahead and have Mr. Kalina read the response that was provided this afternoon.
The probation department is committed to supporting all youth with disabilities in our care. Our approach focuses on individualized support tailored to the specific needs of each young person under our supervision. This individualized approach is crucial to effectively meet the diverse requirements of each youth. We maintain publicly available policies regarding the American with Disabilities Act, ADA, specifically our Youth with Disabilities document, and have a designated ADA coordinator readily available to address any concerns or questions of the youth and families. Furthermore, our dedicated staff receive comprehensive training in de-escalation techniques to ensure appropriate and effective responses in all situations. The staff work under the Youth in Custody Practice Model developed by the Council of Juvenile Justice Administrators and the Center for Youth Justice at Georgetown University. The model is designed to improve services for youth in custody from facility admission to community reentry. Staff in our facilities also receive MANT system training on de-escalation in crisis situations to encourage that youth and the staff are treated with dignity and respect. Whenever possible, our interventions are carefully designed to be sensitive to and supportive of each individual's unique circumstances and abilities.
So I appreciate that response that was sent by your department. However, that was the information that was given to us during the presentation and does not address my specific concern about the neurodivergence and the specific tactics used to be able to de-escalate children that are in fight or flight mode. That is my concern. The youth in custody practice model, I'd love to hear more about that. I believe that goes specifically to being able to rehabilitate the youth and doesn't actually go to incarceration expectations. But I would love to hear more in case I am wrong. If I could get a specific response to neurodivergent, again, we did hear about the ADA compliance last time when they came and did the presentation. My specific concern was the response that the department does not recognize or does not distribute information to their employees about a child that is neurodivergent. Therefore, they do not know that the child may have a reaction that is not neurotypical. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay,
So
thank
if you can send us that specific question, then we'll get right into it. So we can, if I'm understanding correctly, you want to know what tactics and how we de-escalate, so more of the training of what we do to identify them.
Absolutely, thank you.
Yes, please.
And Dr. Brown?
That definition is so broad that people can't specifically. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I think she's asking. Maybe, is there a way to be specific with when you say neurodivergent?
Go ahead, Ms. Kinayub. And then I just want to remind Dr. Brown to use your microphone when you ask a question so people online can hear you too. I just don't want you, okay, no problem.
So I think neurodivergent is a newer term that is widely used. It has been there in psychology before, but it is more used now because there is a spectrum for autism. And I think one of the things too is that we're discovering that one of the largest issues of children that are incarcerated is called, I'm sorry, I'm sick, so give me a second to think. It's called, I can't remember, but it's basically where the child is unable to comprehend a response. So they become defiant disorder, which still falls under the neurodivergent. And it's not really something where the child is defiant on purpose or there's a lack of oversight over the child or a lack of parenting. It's nothing like that. There's actually, they have proven that there is a lack of protein that goes in the child's brain that is not communicating correctly. So they are consistently in fight or flight. And they have found that the majority of the children that are in custody suffer from this. And what happens is that when they are in custody, they tend to stay in longer because they respond in a non-neurotypical way. So that's why I'm concerned is that we are then putting children into these places that very young, and then they become criminals through the oversight. And so that's why I want to know what the specific measures are taken, because I don't want to keep the children in these facilities without giving them assistance or giving them the understanding that they can react well. There just has to be a different ability to handle that.
Thank you. And I'm going to ask Naris if you could work with Ms. Kinayub again to get the question specifically in writing to probation department in advance so we can get a response from you next month.
Yes,
please.
we will definitely do it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Any other? Yes, Ms. Federico Mondragon.
Ms. Peña?
Diaz Pina.
Peña. Okay. Are you going to be our
Yes.
liaison?
Yes.
Because I've seen a couple of folks, so that's good to know. The question about immigration actually got me thinking about young people's status. Are they protected when they are in your care, like in detention or on probation? Is their status protected? Legal status, DACA,
I
furry
don't know
status?
that answer, but I can get it for you. So you want to know they're protected while they're in custody with us
Yes.
under DACA?
Regardless of
Okay.
what their status is.
I can get that information for you.
Yes. Yes.
Protected from ICE in general.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is that what you're asking, or are you asking whether their status is protected?
I'm thinking more of like deportation. Are they protected from deportation regardless of what their status is?
Got
If
it.
they have a
Okay.
visa or DACA.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions for our probation liaison? Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Have a good
Okay.
evening.
See you next month. Thank you. And now I've lost my agenda. I think that brings us to the end of our meeting. Sorry, I got my agenda mixed up here. Mr. Bennett, if you could call us into closed session.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. There will be a recommended closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54957 to discuss cases that are confidential under Penal Code Sections 832.5 through 832.8. And there are 7 cases to be discussed, and that will be the recommendation.
Thank you. That brings us to the end of our public meeting. Thank you for being here.